Whenever I see a picture like this or like this, I've always said that it was Photoshop.
This is fake. That's fake.
It's a fake?
Yeah, that's Photoshop. That's fake.
Because in my mind, Dwyane Wade only played for one team, and that team is the Miami Heat. And for years, I stood on that hill. Well, today, I'm here to admit that I was wrong.
I lost.
Wade indeed did play for the Chicago Bulls, and he did play for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But look, I got two major conspiracy theories to explain why it happened, and I'm gonna expose the master plan from Pat Riley himself.
Me? Just hanging around.
As everybody knows, Dwyane Wade is from Chicago. And if you're a ball player that happens to be from Chicago, there's a high chance that you're gonna end up playing for the Bulls at some point in your NBA career. Because what I found out is the Chicago Bulls management absolutely loves to have at least one homegrown player for the fans to root for. You don't believe me? In the last 27 seasons of Bulls basketball, there's only been 2 years where there wasn't at least one Chicago-born player. Just 2 years. From Randy Brown to AJ Guyton, who don't even have a picture on Basketball Reference, by the way, to Eddie Curry, to Derrick Rose, to Patrick Beverly. The list goes on and on. And headed to the 2016-2017 season, the Bulls were in jeopardy of not having a Chicago-born player on their roster because, well, in that offseason, they traded away Derrick Rose.
Leave me alone!
And even looking back on it today, what a awful trade. So the management wanted to cover it up and find another Chicago kid. So you look at the free agency class and you notice there's only one Chicago-born player available, and that was Dwyane Wade. And what made it all fishy is that the Bulls looked like they were getting ready for a rebuild. They traded away Derrick Rose. Pau Gasol left to go to the Spurs. Joakim Noah went on to the Knicks. E'Twaun Moore went on to the Pelicans. These are star players. But they needed a Chicago kid, and they needed it to make sense. So Dwyane Wade is upset with the offer that the Miami Heat sent them because the Heat are trying to sign Hassan Whiteside for whatever reason.
Hey, cuz, where you gonna sign? Miami.
No!
And they also wanted to get into the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. Kevin Durant had other things in mind.
He's got an amazing touch around the basket.
And it might have set the league back for years at a time or whatever. So the Bulls saw that Dwyane Wade was disgruntled and they noticed that they could offer more money. So they did. And if you watch any interview where Dwyane Wade talks about his tenure with the Bulls, he'll even tell you that him signing with the Bulls just kind of happened.
I didn't even plan to go to Chicago. It was just like something that kind of, and they didn't plan to have me. It was just something that kind of got thrown together at the last minute because, like, you know, everything happened in Miami and, you know, and I was like, all right, I'm out.
And what made it worse is that the team sucked. I mean, look at this lineup. The Bulls were near dead last in three-point makes, and you can see why. Not one positive three-point shooter on the whole starting lineup. But they needed these moments. Because when you're from Chicago and you're in the starting lineup, there's nothing better than the call.
From Chicago!
So that's the first conspiracy. It's not the strongest conspiracy theory, but a conspiracy theory nonetheless. But the second one, this second conspiracy theory, this has to do with the long mission that Pat Riley and the Miami Heat management put into play years before they got to see the reward. Because I believe that Dwyane Wade was sent to Chicago by the Miami Heat to convince Jimmy Butler to end up on the Heat. January 25th, 2017, the Bulls blew a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Atlanta Hawks, and Dwyane Wade was upset. You don't care enough. It's gotta mean that much to you to want to win. And it doesn't. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know how you fix it. It just doesn't mean enough for guys around here to want to win basketball games. And those are strong words from Mr. Miami Heat himself. He's not used to having a culture that wasn't the Heat culture. But you know, after those comments, Jimmy Butler's ears perked up because he's cut from a very similar cloth where winning is #1 priority. So Dwyane Wade goes to the Chicago Bulls, talks to Jimmy Butler about this one place, this one marvelous place that has great weather, that only care about one thing, and that's winning basketball games. A place so magical that they've been able to win championships. A place so magical that they can hold each other accountable. Of course, we're talking about the Miami Heat. And for the entire season, Dwyane Wade and Jimmy Butler grew closer and closer and closer. And Dwyane Wade was able to convince a man that said he'd never wear a Miami Heat jersey to become one of the biggest superstars in Miami Heat history.
Tobias Harris over me?